This is the Bosch GDX18V-EC hybrid impact driver and half-inch impact wrench. In a previous video I showed you the maximum torque that this could go to, and it undid a bolt that was done up to 195 Newton meters, which is greater than the claimed figures by Bosch. Now obviously you don't want to be using any tool at the peak of its powers, because you'll shorten the life over time. So I thought I'd show you how it performs on how fast it is on bolts that are, within its capability, well within its capability. You can see for yourself just how quick it works. The way that I've done it is on this wheel here. We'll ignore the bottom bolt because that's the locking wheel bolt, but on this bolt here we'll call that number one, and on number one I've actually tightened that to 80 Newton meters, 59 foot-pounds, 708 inch-pounds. Bolt number two, that's been tightened to 100 Newton meters, 74 foot-pounds, 885 inch-pounds. We'll call bolt number three this one, which is 140 Newton meters. That's actually the correct torque for the wheel bolts on this car, 103 foot-pounds or 1239. And then bolt four, that one there, is going to be 160 Newton meters, 118 foot-pounds and 1416 inch-pounds. So all of these figures are lower than the capabilities of this. This is 185 Newton meters, so they should all cope. It should undo them all, no problem at all. It's just a question of how quickly it does it. So I've already taught them up, and hopefully you trust me that I've actually done them to the specifications that I've claimed. And let's get undoing these bolts. So I'll undo bolt number one, which is at 80 Newton meters, and I'll actually time it as well. Well, goodness me, that was it was actually faster than 2.8 seconds. I barely had time to register it. So 80 Newton meters or 59 foot-pounds, 708 inch-pounds. It buzzes that off no problem at all. So we'll go on to the next one. This one here is 100 Newton meters, 74 foot-pounds, 885. Okay, not the best of timing, but a little over 5 seconds. Then we'll do this one here, which is 140 Newton meters, 103 foot-pounds, 1239 inch-pounds. Okay, so that was probably around about 13 seconds by the time I finished undoing it. And then finally, this one here, this is 160 Newton meters, 118 foot-pounds, 1416 inch-pounds. Oops. Quite strange that actually buzzed that off quicker than the previous one. Don't quite know how that's happened, but anyway. So yeah, so that's basically then how this particular impact driver copes with bolts that are well within its capability. And if you think about 80 Newton meters, that's like suspension bolts, that kind of thing. 100 Newton meters, that's like steering track rods, something like that. 140, like I say, that's the actual spec for the wheel bolts on this car. then 160 Newton meters. There's quite a jump then on this car. The bolts kind of, you don't really need too much more than 120 Newton meters, so 160. The way it undid that means that for all the work I'm going to do on this car, this is well within its capability and it'll do absolutely fine. So there we go, a little speed test for you, and I hope you find that useful, and thanks for watching.